everybody, CreamCrazy here. Welcome to my WWE Survivor Series 2012 results and opinions video. This pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen, before I get started, wasn't held in the highest regard by me before I went in. I have to say, bluntly, it wasn't improved too much, but at least I can say it's better than Over the Limit and a few others on this calendar this year combined, because it had some substance. Okay, I had 3 weeks of build, but it did have something to give me. Not too much, but something. Before I go into the actual reviews, everybody, there are two things I want to announce. I'm trying something new here. Yeah, because one thing is new, the other thing is just time saving. You see, first, I'm only really going to announce what move ended a match and who won the thing. Because some of you, obviously, I know you guys like my long reviews, and to be honest, so do I, because detail is my specialty. But the fact is, I also realise that makes my videos extremely hard for casual people to get into. Then again, this is just a small test, so I'll only be doing that, and I'll be doing a lot more detailing in the summing up with the pros and cons. In relation to that, I have a new system for reviewing matches. I told you before that I have my 5 factors, and I'm going to look at that and weigh those in as pros and cons, and then sum up the rating. Well, you see, I decided to use those 5 factors as the basis for my ratings. You see, I number those factors. I add the scores together, divide by how many factors there are, which is 5, and then add or subtract pros and cons as well as my personal opinion to make the final rating of the match. Hopefully, this should make some matches rated a bit more fair than others, because to be honest with you, for Over the Limit, for example, I felt I was way too harsh on that show, mostly because I was in a very grumpy mood and just wasn't in the mood to watch it, which explained why there were so many bad match ratings. Then again, the event was shit anyway, so it really didn't help. It really didn't end up singing a praise for itself. Anyway, after this, we can now fully get started on the review. Sorry, but this is a kind of bit of admin that needed to be done. I thought we were going to start off with Team Ziggler versus Team Foley because it would have been the most logical thing to do. However, WWE, knowing just how their system works, they threw logic and sense out the window from the word go, and that didn't set the tone for the night well at all, because we got the Jobber Central and Midcard and Lower Midcard Survivor Series tag match, where Brodus Clay, Justin Gabriel, Tyson Kidd, and Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio, the high-flying luchadors, defeated Tensai, Epico, Primo, and the Primetime Players. Now, to put this out there, I really didn't give a shit, and hopefully this will get a decent rating at the end of it. Anyway, this is how the eliminations went. Brodus Clay was eliminated by Tensai. Tensai eliminated Justin Gabriel. Titus O'Neil was eliminated by Tyson Kidd. Epico eliminated by Tyson Kidd as well. Primo eliminated by Rey Mysterio. And this was the best elimination of the lot, though. Darren Young, the last guy, was eliminated by Mysterio after him, Sin Cara, Tyson Kidd, and Justin Gabriel all hit springboard and top rope moves on him for the win. I mean, that's pretty awesome, don't you think? I mean, anyone could say, if there's any way you can make a match with no build be awesome in the end, that's one way you can do it. Just thought it's very simple. Eve defended the WWE Divas Championship against Kaitlyn. Now, to put this into perspective, they played the story out well, where a woman in a blonde wig attacked Kaitlyn before the match, which meant, oh god, here we go again, she's gonna get screwed. No, because Kaitlyn fought back, making sure she got to the match fine, and it was Aksana in the end, and I'll tell you now, I didn't give a shit, because I just wanted to see Kaitlyn go out there and whoop Eve's ass. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. It may have been a very, very physical match, which, to be honest, I enjoyed, but Eve won with a swinging neckbreaker. To be honest with you, she only managed to get an advantage by pulling the apron skirt and Kaitlyn at the same time, making her fall, and that was it. And then put her in the ring, neckbreaker. To me, it was a very weak finish. Then again, I will get to the pros and cons later, but a swinging neckbreaker, to me, that really doesn't sum up a finishing move in many respects, honestly. Antonio Cesaro defeated R-Truth to retain the WWE United States Championship. Cesaro won with the neutralizer. And I will tell you, even in this mostly one-sided contest, I did enjoy the chemistry between these two, proving that these two, and to be honest, Cesaro, can build a solid feud out of it. Well, let's hope they build a solid feud out of it. Big Show defeated Sheamus to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Now let me tell you something. You may think this is all well and dandy if you hadn't seen the show or looked at the dirt sheets, the results, or whatever the fuck you've been looking at. This may seem all well and clear. This is just like how I expected. No. You see, Big Show hit the WMD after he pulled the referee into a bro kick to shield himself. Another referee counted the count, and Show got the win. However, that same referee, upon seeing what had happened, reversed the decision on the account of Show pulling the ref into the kick. So, you know what? Okay, this is one. I'm not going to put this in a pros and con column because it's just a stupid little thing, really. But Big Show was pissed off that he was disqualified, yet he had managed to retain the championship. Can somebody explain the logic and reason behind that? Because a lot of this, again, like I've said, sense was thrown out of the window from the get-go. And this explains it. Right here. You get shit like that. You get shit. A heel still is champion. But just because he lost a match does not mean he has to act like a crybaby about it. And of course, Sheamus beat him down with a steel chair, which of course means, as Dan, Mr. Parkin, has said, it'll probably lead to a chairs match at TLC. I don't really care, because it really shouldn't have been done. It really shouldn't go to another match. It should have just ended here. Team Ziggler defeated Team Foley, just like I fucking predicted. Booyakasha. Anyway, we of course found out before the show that David Otunga was going to replace Cody Rhodes. Now, honestly, David Otunga. Okay, really, I don't understand the concept behind that. Hasn't been on TV very much lately. Don't really understand the point. I would rather have had Cody come out and then get eliminated in 5 seconds. Okay, sure, that would have buried him slightly, and I know Dan would have been furious, but if you think about it, he would have at least been spared the pain. Like a cheap roll-up immediately when he walks out of his corner or something. You know, it's something easy to say, look, you got to do a lot tonight to beat us. We just eliminated one of your guys when he really wasn't looking too well, high-fiving all of you. Therefore, it would have made it a lot more awesome to see the heels rise up and win. It would have been funner. But it's even more stupid when you look at who got eliminated first anyway. Damien Sandow got eliminated by Kane. Now, why did they have to keep Otunga in for as long as they did? I have no fucking clue. Ugh. Kane, however, conversely, got eliminated by Dolph Ziggler. Otunga then got eliminated by Daniel Bryan. Kofi Kingston was eliminated by Wade Barrett. Daniel Bryan was then eliminated by Alberto Del Rio, the reason of which I will get into the pros and cons of later. Wade Barrett was eliminated by The Miz. The Miz was eliminated by Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio was eliminated by Randy Orton. No shit. And, of course, Randy Orton eliminated by Dolph Ziggler, meaning he is the sole survivor, and the obvious streak of Randy Orton being the sole survivor is gone. Because, to be honest, when he went down to hit just him and Ziggler, I thought, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, it's gonna happen. We're gonna see that super snake just rise up and hit an RKO and just magically win, but thank God we didn't, because Ziggler now has some validity. He isn't the world champion, but he has some validity. He pinned Randy Orton clean in the middle of that ring. That's enough, folks. And finally, CM Punk defeated John Cena and Ryback to retain the WWE Championship. That's right, no championships changed hands on this evening. No championships at all. To be honest, they should have. I will get to that point later. But the fact is, this match was the best of the night, hands down. Punk pinned Cena, and you may think, okay, that's predictable as fuck, because Ryback needed to still look strong. But it's the reason how, and the reason of why he managed to get the win is even more incredible, because to many people this made the pay-per-view, because we didn't see it coming. And that's the great thing. I said to WWE, throw us a curveball. And even though throughout the entire evening they threw logic out the fucking window and didn't bother to do things in the right way, They did this in a way I didn't expect. They threw us a curveball, and I was flabbergasted, because they took 3 NXT wrestlers disguised in security uniform to take Ryback out right after he'd shell-shocked Cena in the middle of the ring. They then picked him up and triple powerbombed him through the Spanish announce table. And that allowed Punk to crawl to the win. Punk 365 says, "I just whooped both of your asses." Quite literally, folks. This... I was left speechless because the pay-per-view ended on a high note, despite the fact the rest of the night not really making too much of an impact. Therefore, we can at least smile in some way. Okay, let's get on to the ratings of every match, shall we? And you can see, it's taken me nearly 11 minutes to get to this point. It usually would have taken me roughly 35 to 40, and I think you may all appreciate that. First off, the Undercard Survivor Series elimination match. Now, of course, you want to hear what these 5 factors are. Well, there's psychology, means the backstory of the match, as well as the body parts being worked on to tell the story in that ring. Meaning, if they can work the backstory and injuring body parts into the match, I'll be fine with that. Move variety. How many different moves were used, by all parties included? The crowd reaction. Basically, that writes itself. Match length and pacing, whether the match lasts the right amount of time and whether it was paced well, whether it is fast or slow. And of course, the most important factor, because it is the factor that defines it all, my enjoyment of it. Did I like the match? First of all, the Undercard Survivor Series match. Psychology, 0. Quite simply, despite the fact that even though the tag teams are in feuding with each other, primetime players and Mysterio and Sin Cara, there was no backstory to this match. It was thrown together at the last minute, and I honestly do not care. Okay, that people may say to me, it had a big matchup on Raw last week. That still isn't enough to build it for a pay-per-view, you know. Like I said before the pay-per-view, I would be happy if the card remained as it is with no add-ons, because you could make these matches fucking last ages to build tension. And to be honest, this lasted nearly 20 minutes when it really didn't need to. But then again, I'll get to the match length and pacing a bit later. Move variety. A lot of great tag moves by many people in this, and to be honest, seeing 4 high flyers do well in showing their abilities is fantastic in itself. Crowd reaction, because, like I said, this wasn't built very well, there was nothing to it, the crowd didn't give a shit. To be honest with you, they only really cheered Rey Mysterio. Let me just put that out there. They only really cheered Mysterio. The rest of them didn't get too much of a reaction at all. I can tell you that. If you were watching it last night, you'd know what I mean. Match length and pacing. Okay, the pacing was fast and furious. I liked that. That gave this the majority of this rating of a 3. But then again, the length to me, it lasted way too long. It should have just been quick, easy, simple. It didn't have to take forever for any of these eliminations to happen. It picked up by the end, and in terms of my enjoyment, by the end of this match, I was enjoying it. It took a bit of time for me to get over that negative stigma. I gave it a 2.5. I give it a 2.5. So, psychology 0, move variety 3.5, crowd reaction 1, length and pacing 3, and my enjoyment a 2.5, which gave me a base rating of 2 stars, which looks fucking awesome, you may think, because this match had nothing on paper. Why would you think I'd be giving it that rating? Let me go through the pros and cons. Sin Cara's moves were fluid and well done, meaning there were no botches. To be honest with you, that is the biggest highlight of this entire match, because, of course, I even mentioned on the Skype chat, here comes Botch Cara. The fact is, because he didn't botch, made me think, I can give this match a little bit extra. In fact, that's where the move variety came in, because Sin Cara's moves were completely sound. There was no error. And like, okay, even in the springboard moonsault, he had to get up early in advance and literally press himself off the thing. That's not really a botch, just him being really well prepared. So I wouldn't even mark him down for anything. See, I mean, Sin Cara not botching is a big thing. Kid, Gabriel, Mysterio, and Sin Cara's springboard diving moves were epic. Basically, what happened... Oh, this is lovely. Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio, before they did their moonsaults off the top, off the ropes on the outside, they opened a giant pocket. I thought, oh god, they've botched something. I really did think they'd done that. And then Kid and Gabriel just flying out of nowhere hit suicide dives. Seriously. I mean, it made me smile, because you've got two light heavyweight, cruiserweight tag teams whooping ass. That makes me smile, it really does, because it shows that they could bring a cruiserweight title back and it would flourish. Just saying, people. All the high flyers hitting the springboard moves and top rope moves on Young at the end was very satisfying because it made the crowd be over with the winners. And to be honest with you, I think they were going to be over with the crowd anyway because they're two epic tag teams. And honestly, it was just really fun to see high flyers enjoying themselves, proving their worth to the people, and they therefore got the response they wanted. It shows that people are interested. Also, another pro on a commentary note. This is the funniest bloody line I heard all night. JBL says, you've got four, because of Brodus Clay's inclusion in this light heavyweight team, you've got 4 high flyers and an aircraft carrier. Fucking ridiculous. I laughed my arse off. Seriously. Cons, it was unannounced, meaning there was no need for it, because like I said, I didn't need this match. To be honest, the card would have been fine without it. Also, in terms of botching, there was one unlucky candidate, Brodus Clay. He did not end up getting a capture suplex to work on Tensai, and basically Tensai face-planted when he was trying to chuck him. Effectively, if Tensai has a concussion, we know what's going to happen to Brodus. He is not going to be seen on TV for quite some time. So yeah, if one person was going to fuck up and it wasn't Sin Cara, it's bound to be someone else. So it's bound to be Brodus Clay because the super heavyweight upon super heavyweight move will go wrong. In the end, there weren't too many cons to bring this down. So I added the pros as nothing really, unless there was enough of them to really shoot it upwards. These were minor pros, I'd say, and the cons were just enough to bring it down. So I'd give it 1 3/4 stars. A very decent opening to the pay-per-view, which is something I did not expect from the match when it was first announced to us. Eve versus Kaitlyn. Psychology, ugh. Do I give this a 2 or a 3? I'd give it a 2, mostly because the psychology of this match was built up on the pre-existing storyline. The physicality of this match was Kaitlyn whooping the shit out of Eve for the most of it. That was great. It told a story. It played the revenge saying, you fucked with me for months, I'm gonna whoop your ass. That made me very happy. Because for years I thought, oh, it was just what they do in the ring with the moves and shit that gives a good story. I then really thought, you know what, this is good backstory. It builds up something and it makes a very satisfying match. I'd go for it. Move variety, 2. Because this is a Divas match, which you wouldn't normally expect much. And we got this great head scissor triangle chokehold from Eve. And that's enough said. I really don't need to worry about myself picking out great moves. This was a decent match with some good moves from these two Divas. I can't name many of them off the top of my head, but it was good. Crowd reaction, 1.5. It wasn't as bad as the first match. I give it that. It wasn't as bad. The fans were slightly into it, hoping to see Kaitlyn whoop ass. And to be honest, because she did, they perked up a few times. They really did. I'm not joking with you, but it was still very small. Match length and pacing. It lasted a while. It was fast, it was furious, it did not stop, and it didn't let up at all. And to be honest, a Divas match that can do that is a plus in my book. Really is a plus in my book. Because honestly, what more am I going to say? It's a great reason to be happy, don't you think? And on my enjoyment, 3.5 out of 5. Simply because, I don't know, it's one of those Divas matches that simply worked. Really, it worked. Meaning that the base rating was 2.5 stars. The best rating a Divas match has gotten from me since I've started this entire YouTube thing. Pros. I've already mentioned all 3 of them. It was a very physical offense and very physical match by Kaitlyn. I loved it, because to be honest, in Divas matches, you do not see physicality. You often just see some high-flying moves, some slaps, some very simple and big amounts of overselling. You don't see anything which makes them similar to what the men are doing, because if the men are in a match, you would see physicality. Women have a mean streak, and Kaitlyn fucking showed it. She showed that there is a mean streak within these soft, cute very spunky divas who are basically eye candy for the men. And that just made you think, wow, she's broken the fucking mould. And that's brilliant. I'm going to tell you now. This is why at the moment I am very high on Kaitlyn, because she's doing everything no one else is doing. And that, if that makes you the one thing I can look at and say the Divas division has some hope, that's all good. The head scissor triangle chokehold that Eve did. Again, I've mentioned it already. It was a fun move. It was really fun because, to be honest, if they were going to go down the psychology route when you think about why the neck breaker was done at the end, you think about it. It was stuck in there, and then she literally inverted it and planted Kaitlyn's head into the mat a few times. I thought, okay, I'm a psychology fan, I can add a bit more on that, because it actually did help. And I've already mentioned it too, the match did last a while, because we don't see Divas matches last more than a minute or two usually, which was fine. The major con here, the major con, was that the face dominated and the heel won. Usually, we don't see this. Usually we see the heel dominating and the face winning. And to me, this was the wrong decision, because I thought it was the perfect time, especially when you looked at the match itself. Kaitlyn beat the shit out of Eve for the majority of this match. Hey, Big Show beat the majority out of Sheamus at Hell in a Cell, and he won the championship, okay? So, where's the fairness in that? Double standards much, folks. And to be honest, to me that's big enough, because it ruined the full conclusion of this match. Because this match would have stayed at its rating of 2.5 if Kaitlyn had won. But because of that didn't happen, I have to rate it down, because it made Kaitlyn's offense pointless. Because if Eve can win with a swinging neck breaker out of nowhere, then, well, after a quick intervention and stopping Kaitlyn from beating her up some more, it doesn't really make anything that the match ended up giving us worth it. It didn't make it worth it, in my opinion, but this is still a good match. 2 stars. For a Divas match to go above 1 star for the first time since I've done this, I'm very pleased, because I hope we get to see the conclusion to this. I really do. I want to see a match at TLC. Fuck it. Even put them in a TLC match. Just give me something different, because at the moment you're giving me something that the Divas haven't done in ages. So keep that up, I will be happy. Cesaro vs Truth. Psychology, 1.5. There was a small bit of backstory which meant you could at least give a shit that these two are fighting. It was minimal, but of course also Cesaro worked on the head quite a bit. So and the chest as well. So you can see, working on all those factors, he would try and get something good out of it. Move variety was also a 1, because to be honest, there's nothing that Cesaro and Truth didn't do that I hadn't really seen them do before, which was not really a very big positive. Crowd reaction, 3.5. And now you may be thinking to yourself, this is pretty fucking high. It is. That's mostly because R-Truth made people give a shit about this match. And I have to say this is a big factor, because R-Truth equals a big crowd reaction. And seeing him beat up Cesaro occasionally made the crowd interested. Cesaro winning at the end muted that, but you see my point. It made people care and it worked. Length and pacing. The match, whilst quick in bursts, was majoritively slow, and knowing Cesaro's matches it was a problem. And I really wanted it to be a bit faster, knowing R-Truth's ability to make any matches be as razor quick as anything. And also, the match didn't last very long either, so I didn't really get to see anything materialise, which meant it's a 1.5. And with my enjoyment at the end of it, it was solid. 2.5, I give it a 2 out of 5, meaning the base rating this got was about a 1. Yeah, it was a 1, roughly, about 1.25. Pros, good fluid moves by both men. It was pleasing on the eye, because even though this match was slow at times, it did work. These guys, their moves were just very easy on the eye to watch. It wasn't just all over the place. It was solid character-held wrestling. It was good, decent stuff. And plus, it showed that both men had good chemistry. I've mentioned this before, as both of their styles worked well. I noticed Cesaro's pure, simple grappling style, it really worked well with Truth's unorthodox one. Don't know why, just to me it managed to fit the bill nicely. The cons. Truth, to be honest, oversold a bit. And I found that really unbelievable, because when you oversell, it makes the guy out to be stronger than he is. Okay, Cesaro is a beast, but at the same time, it just, okay, you want to make Cesaro look like he's a big bad man, but just didn't do it for me. Plus, Cesaro winning was, again, the wrong decision, because it made the match have an anticlimactic feel to it, because it sucked the audience dry. They needed something to fucking shout about. They needed R-Truth to win, and to be honest, so did I. But it didn't happen. Again, reason out of the window. So yeah, I think those two big points on either side even each other out. The rating remains at a star. It was a solid match, but I won't go any higher than that. It was decent. It was very, very... it was okay. I won't go any further than that. 1 star is perfectly fine. The Big Show versus Sheamus now. Psychology 2. Because honestly, this match already had backstory going into it. Big Show had dominance, but of course Sheamus had a lot more. He had a lot more offense, working on the head and the body, making sure his moves would hit the right effect. It was good. I felt that it wasn't the best these guys could have done, but seeing Sheamus get more was good. Move variety 2. While it was all the same, I just felt there was a lot more to it than last time. Okay, there were a few epic moves done to make the crowd really liven up for it, which was great, because those moves you don't normally see. Plus, as they were big shockers, you could really get behind it. Match length and pacing. I've just gone ahead of myself. Crowd reaction 3. This match had some crowd heat, and that's good, because this is a world title, you'd expect it to. I was expecting more of it, knowing this has been built reasonably well in the time frame, but it wasn't to be. Match length and pacing 1.5. The match to me was a bit too short for my liking. It went the way I thought it would have done in terms of result, but the pacing, whilst it was slightly quick, the length was just not there for me. I felt like the match was rushed. That was not good. My enjoyment was a 2. I felt in the end it was okay. I didn't really get in. I was getting into it right when they ended it. This has happened so many times this year, I can't bloody believe it. Anyway, the base rating was 1.5. There are 2 moves here, which I can single out as pros, and are why the move variety got a 2 in the ratings. There was a big spear that Sheamus did, that Big Show hit Sheamus with. Now, you think, okay, Big Show hitting a spear, how many times have we seen that? Sheamus jumped off the top rope, and Big Show hit him in mid-air with it. That is impressive. Okay, Big Show didn't leap off the ground to get him, but it was still pretty nice. You don't see it often. Sheamus, however, knowing that was Big Show's move of doom, hit one of his own. Big Show on the top rope. Managed to hit... well, it wasn't on the top rope, was it? Either way, he hit it anyway. Sheamus hit an electric chair drop on the Big Show. How fucking insane was that? Because it shows... Even when you can say, oh, is he really that strong? Okay, he lifted Big Show into the white noise. He's managed to hit the bro kick, even with the big, massive Big Show in the way. Yeah, he managed to do an electric chair drop. Makes you think it's all good. The cons, and there actually are quite a few. There are only about 3 here, but it was needed to be said. As the physicality increased, the pace slowed to a near crawl. And this was the problem that there was in the last match. There was a lot of physicality, which people liked, but I like my matches to be a bit faster. Because, to be honest with you, the way to make a good flowing match is you can have some speed. Even for guys that big, you need speed. And it just didn't have it. Okay, the physicality served its purpose, but it needed to give us something more. The ending was a bit of a clusterfuck. Because we didn't know what the fuck we were going on about. There's referees everywhere. It was okay, I wanted Big Show to retain the title, but he didn't need to retain it in that cheap, shitty way. Honestly, because like I keep saying, Sheamus will be strong no matter if he wins clean or not. He will be strong no matter what. And this finish was stupid. I mentioned it. Why have Big Show be pissed off that he'd retained the title through a DQ? It's just ridiculous. Really is. Okay, the referee took a manly bump and sold it to perfection, but I can't really go any more about it. Plus, the big one. There was no Ziggler cash-in, even though it was set up fantastically, because Big Show was beaten within an inch of his life with a steel chair and a bro kick. The crowd were chanting for it. The crowd were saying, we want Ziggler, we want Ziggler. And to be honest, we were on the chat doing it too, because I thought, here, do it now. Do it on this fucking pay-per-view. And they didn't. They didn't. And I just thought, oh, fucking facepalm. Honestly, again, they just chucked all reason out the window again. It's happened all night, it's going to keep going. And that was a big problem. And that's why I took majority of that half off due to that. Because it's stupid. Really. They could have made this match worthwhile. It could have made a 1 3/4 if it was, because if it went right. But no. It's going to go down to a 1. Now, some people are going to bitch, but I don't care. It wasn't the match I expected in so many levels. Really. What are people going on about? It had a lot of promise and a lot of decent things about it, but endings and problems in pacing will let this match down. Team Foley versus Team Ziggler, which should have happened earlier on in the night. Psychology 2. Of course, you have backstories with every single person. Bodies were worked. 'Twas nice. But really, I really shouldn't give this a 2, because mostly it's the backstory alone that gives it. I really shouldn't be too up for it, because there wasn't too much working on body parts done by many of these guys. Honestly. Move variety, 1.5, because there was a few cool little things, but nothing really to write home about. Crowd reaction, 2. Really. The crowd were into it to begin with, but it petered away towards the end, and then came back again. So yeah, give it a 2. Match length and pacing, 1. Yeah. The opening match for Survivor Series should have been shorter. This one should have been longer. And I'll get to the reason why this is a 1 when I get to the cons. My enjoyment, a 1. I came out of this not really enjoying it at all, despite the ending being what I wanted. The base rating was a 1.5. The pros, Ziggler fucking flew. Twice. He was hit by a monkey flip and a flapjack, which he sold to absolute perfection too. To show you how epic that monkey flip was, he rotated 360 degrees in the air and landed flat on his face. I mean, I literally said, Ziggler fucking flew. He did it again. It was incredible. Del Rio hit a lovely enziguri to The Miz when he was facing backwards on the top in the ropes after missing his flying knee. Or flying clothesline. It was lovely. Dropkick to Orton, a dropkick by Orton to Del Rio's crossbody was a lovely move. And, of course, Mick Foley doing what he has to, a socko to Rodriguez. Lovely. And the ending was fun. The punt failed, allowing for Orton to lose and putting Ziggler over clean. Awesome. Don't get a better ending than that, because that's exactly what I suspected. However, there are a lot of cons here. There were too many quick eliminations early on. This match needed time to mature properly, and it made it look rushed. That is why the length and pacing was so low. It was not needed. We should have had something better. Del Rio made Bryan, a submission machine and one of the greatest wrestlers in the world today, look like a bitch by having him tap out the crossarm breaker. And that was not the best way to make one of the most over men in WWE right now look strong. It really wasn't. Okay, it made the Del Rio look strong briefly, but it didn't really serve a purpose. And of course we got foreshadowings of it, but no heel turn for Orton. It may happen tonight on Raw. We don't know that, but we're hoping it is. So yeah, I'm going to give this match 1.5. I'm being very nice to keep it the way it is, despite the cons being quite massive. I'm being very nice here, because when I look at the ratings and why I gave them, I should give it lower, but I'm feeling in a generous mood. It wasn't that bad of a match, but 1.5 I'll give it. It was not as good as the opener by only a small margin. And finally, Ryback, Cena, Punk. Psychology 2. Obviously, you'd say there's more because the backstory worked out well. Well, let's say this. We had Sheamus... fuck it. We had Cena and Ryback for the first time ever. Worked out well. Move variety, 2.5. Obviously, adding Ryback into the mix with Cena gave us some new things. Couldn't name too many, but there were some good little moves around here that really worked out. And there were some big moves that made me think, yeah, put this up a bit. Crowd reaction, 4.5. The crowd were eating this up. Can't go wrong with it. No problems about it. It did slow down a bit when Ryback was in the ring, but it was more or less the Goldberg chance, really. Match length and pacing, a 2. The match, while it was quick, it to me didn't last long enough. I wanted it to go even longer than that. I wanted it to go... Okay, actually, it probably felt a lot quicker than it actually did due to the fact I was quite into it. But, yeah, to me, it just didn't have the way it didn't go the length I could have thought it would. Okay, if it goes over 25 minutes, please tell me, because I really don't want to get wrong with that. My enjoyment, 4. I loved this match, and the ending helped. You see, here are the pros. Ryback went toe-to-toe with Cena, and it finally made Cena look equal to somebody. That was so refreshing. So refreshing, you will not fucking believe it. Honestly. Every time you even see him go up against the biggest opponent, even they don't look equal to Cena. To see Ryback look equal was awesome. Cena helped Ryback be over a small bit here. That's great. There was a nice elbow drop from the top rope by Punk, breaking up a Cena-Ryback STF. Different, a great way to utilise a third man in this scenario, was great. This move was amazing. Punk and Cena worked together, a double suplex put Ryback through the announce table. I went mental at that point because it was so fun to see the announce table get broken. This was Cole's and the JBL and Lawler's. So I thought, okay, where's the Spanish announce table going to be used here? Then we get to the epic ending, because these 3 NXT guys, who we can now name as Roman Reigns, who I have no idea about, Dean Ambrose, who people have been pining to see, and the current NXT champion Seth Rollins, formerly Tyler Black of Ring of Honor. They took Ryback out, putting him through the Spanish announce table, allowing for Punk to win. That ending made the entire night, in my opinion, because we were left floored, we were left smiling, we were left happy. We can celebrate, just be happy that Punk, in my opinion, I'm going to be happy that he won the title, kept the title. The cons. There were a couple here. It was a typical triple threat one-on-one match. Punk got thrown to the outside, Ryback and Cena fought. Cena and Punk threw Ryback to the outside, they could fight. Ryback and Punk got a bit of action too. It was what I expected. It wasn't what was needed, but it happened anyway. It took some time to pick up speed. And that's again, the match pacing again. I felt it was slow to begin with, but it picked up speed and did its job eventually. Good stuff. In the end though, there are more pros here. The ending, the table spots, and the fact that Ryback looked equal gave me enough reason to up this by a full 3/4 of a star. Plus my enjoyment did help. So I'd say 3 3/4 stars, the match of the night without a shadow of a doubt. End o story. And now, onto my final thoughts. This pay-per-view was, in my view, a chance for WWE to think in the right way, make sense, and give us something which can give us faith in their product as it continues to decline. While it may have been better than the last 2 pay-per-views, it still doesn't give us a lot to shout home about. Sure, we got a superb ending which introduced 3 NXT stars into the mix, had some decent moves over the entire night, a Divas match which I loved, fun commentary, and Punk 365 being written into the books. But apart from all that, it just didn't fully deliver on what it could have. We did get no zeros though, which I'm very happy about. But we got okay quality wrestling with no backstory and no substance due to 3 weeks build. Major things that should have happened didn't, and we all felt cheated by the booking, because we should have been given the stuff we should have, but we didn't. Oh man, they should have been giving us something, really, but they didn't. It annoyed me. This pay-per-view didn't actually sound as bad as you may think, because honestly there was a lot of decent stuff in here. It was a solid night of wrestling. It didn't blow many people's socks off until the last 5 minutes, but to be honest, with no match going below a star, it deserves to be given something. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I give Survivor Series 2012 a below average, but almost fully average, 4 3/4 out of 10. Definitely deserved. I think it's good they've upped their game a little bit, but over the course of the entire night, it didn't fully deliver on what I expected. but I'm happy it was better than the last two. I think we can all agree on that. Right, okay. Whew. Hope you guys liked this review, and I've just realised something. Even though I've done this in a shorter way, it still lasted 40 minutes. Fuck. It proves that even with a shorter method, I still go in, and it's probably due to me waffling a bit, but yeah. What do you think? What do you guys think of this new style? It's still 40 minutes, but it's a lot shorter than it could have been. But still, what do you guys think? Put your comments in the comment section below. What did you think of Survivor Series? Add a video response. I will accept. Seriously, I will accept a video response if you put it in the description. Honestly. Because I like hearing what you guys think. Because even though there are a lot of conflicting opinions out there, it's still good to do. Also, guys, remember, click the subscribe button up there. Got a live stream coming this upcoming week. Got a few other things lined up. And also, I'm still accepting Q&A questions for December's Q&A in advance. So keep them coming. It should be nice. Also, just want to point this out quickly. Really want to point this out. Because I'm a little bit annoyed by this. But my Wrestling Rant Awards have just lost an award due to the NXT guys coming into the mix tonight. Because I put down Seth Rollins as my NXT Rising Star Award winner to go through to the main event. Unfortunately, he is, well, not into the main event, but into WWE proper. He is now there. So I don't need that award anymore. But what I'm really asking you guys is, can you suggest me anything I may have missed? Okay, you don't know what my award categories are, but if you send me some things which aren't most specifically award-winning categories, fuck it, I will actually put, in fact, what I'm going to do, everybody, for those Wrestling Rant Awards, I'm starting to whittle them down to a series of nominations of 3 shortlisted nominees for each one, if there is that many. So if I have missed anything, I'll put up a blog about it. Go to my blog, everything will be there, no problems. So you'll be able to then look at what I've put down for some of these categories so far. I'll probably make a long list of about 5 for each one, then I'll whittle it down to 3. If you want to tell me anything that I could add to those, please give me a shout via personal message or comment on the blog itself. The blog won't be up at the time of this being posted, but I'll do it in the next day or so, or probably even while I'm watching Raw, because that'll be the best thing I can do, right? So yeah, those are coming up soon. The award show happens on New Year's Day. All should be fun, all well and good. Guys, I have been Cream Crazy. You've been people listening. This has been my Survivor Series 2012 results and opinions vid. And I will see you next time, where the next pay-per-view we have is Tables, Ladders and Chairs, the final pay-per-view of 2012. Let's hope, and I'll keep saying this, because last year we ended on a pretty decent bang with TLC last year. And knowing what kind of matches are in my head right now, I'm thinking it could go a similar direction. Anyway, that's a good bit of optimism to end on. Guys, hope you have a fantastic week. Hope you have a fantastic everything that goes on in your lives, no matter how ridiculous they may be. I will see you around. Chat to me on Skype. Chat to me on Facebook. Like the Facebook page. Also, add me as a friend if you want. Do what you want to do. Even request some banners on DeviantArt, because I haven't got any in a while. I want to do more. So, please, go ahead. Do what you want to do. All the stuff's in the description box anyway. So, yeah. Have a good week, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review, even though it's taken a lot longer than I thought. And let's hope, if you think anything good about my review system, please put it down there in the comment section. I appreciate your support, because without you guys critiquing my videos and giving me pointers, I wouldn't be shaping my product for you. Anyway, see you guys. Enjoy the week.